Right boys, welcome back to the YouTube. I know I said about 4 weeks ago I'm going to make weekly videos, but I promise now, from this point on, it will be weekly videos because we are 6.5 weeks out, which is scarily close because it's flying by. Like the last video I did was 10 weeks and now we're nearly 6 weeks. So time is flying by. So today we're going to go through a full day of eating. We are on a bit of a decreased amount of calories compared to last video, which we'll go through later on. But as always, started off the morning with my usual morning walk, taking off about 2,000 steps and some water. So first thing on the agenda today is check-ins. So I take check-in photos every single morning, first thing out of bed, well, after my steps, and get them sent over to my coach. So we'll do that, and then we'll get on with the full day of eating, boys. As always, if you enjoy the video, like, comment, subscribe, and let's get on with it. Okay boys, so check-ins are done. I've just sent them over to Christian. We've been doing them outside for the past 3 to 4 months. Firstly, just because being outdoors gives you a better visual indication of what the actual look is looking like. But secondly, just consistency. Doing them in the same place every single day just gives you an indication. Because if you're taking check-ins inside one day and then outside the next day, you can look completely different. So just doing it in the same place, outdoors, every single day, keeps that consistent look. Now, on to part 2 of the morning, which includes the one and only black coffee. Now, this goes in, whether I'm on prep, whether it's off season, every single day, multiple times a day, with two scoops, fucking bodybuilder brain, 2 teaspoons, tablespoons, whatever it is, just as much as I can fit in the cup pretty much, of sweetener. Now, caffeine is something I'm trying to be careful with. I don't want to overdo it because it's going to be needed later down the line. So on average, I'd say 2 of these a day and then a Monster, which we have ready to go for legs later on. So yeah, this really just keeps me ticking over until meal number 1, which we'll get into shortly. So the time right now is 8 o'clock. Going to do some work, get back to clients, and then we'll get on with meal number 1, boys. Right boys, so meal number 1 consists of 2 eggs, 230 grams of egg whites, 100 grams of mushrooms, 100 grams of spinach. And to be honest, the spinach and the mushrooms are just in there just to make the meal a bit more like big and voluminous because they're not in there for flavour. I can tell you that for free. So we're going to make an omelette with them ingredients. So I'm going to cook that up now. It's probably my smallest meal of the day, which isn't a bad thing because we've got legs this afternoon. So I'm going to have meal 1 now. Then I'll have pre-workout meal. And then I'll hit legs. So the distance between, or the gap between meal 1 and 2 won't be that big. So I won't be that hungry for that long, which is a good thing. So I'll cook this up now, and then I'll show you the end product in a sec. And then while that's just cooking away, we've also got supplements which go in with meal number 1, which is vitamin D, vitamin C, omega-3, and then zinc and magnesium go in pre-bed. Plus, I've also found, well not found, it's in every shop, but I've also acquired this. And if you watch my older videos, I have tomato sauce on everything, but this has only got 6.6 calories per serving. And I guarantee, if I wasn't on prep, this would taste like shit. But because I'm on prep, it just tastes like amazing. It's really sweet and basically gets slammed on this meal and a couple of other meals, obviously excluding oats and cereal, but this is a lifesaver, so this is going on this meal as well. Right, so this is the final product now. I think that's probably one of the best ones I've done. I'm still trying to improve my ability to actually make an omelette, but I'm pretty happy with that. Right, so this meal is pro-fat, so 0 carbs. Just an estimate is about 35 grams of protein, 10 grams of fat. And every single meal, excluding post-workout, is 2 grams of pink salt, which also goes in my intra-workout, taking a total daily sodium to 10 grams, So it's going in now, meal 1. Meal 2 will be going in shortly. Someone's supposed to be visiting the house to sort my car out, but they're supposed to be here 20 minutes ago. So if they're not here in the next half an hour, then we'll just crack on with meal number 2, which will be pre-workout meal before legs. So I'm going to eat this now, and then I'll be back for meal number 2, boys. So training days and rest days have both got 5 meals in. However, on a rest day, I've got 4 carbless meals. On a training day, I've got 3 carbless meals. So the 2 meals with carbs in are very, very important, which is why they're placed around my sessions. So pre-workout meal and post-workout meal. Them 2 are the ones that have got carbs in. Now, we're going to have pre-workout meal now, which consists of 50 grams of oats, 1 3/4 scoops of whey, which is the equivalent of 35 grams of protein, 2 grams of pink salt, 100 grams of blueberries, and 20 grams of dark chocolate. So I'm going to eat this now. The guy that's sorting my car out has arrived, so it's going to line up pretty nicely. I'm going to eat this now, and then it'll be time for legs, boys. I've also got a monster in there, which I've shown you before. So I'll make this now, I'll show you the finished product, and I'll also show you the macros.
Or pre-workout, another portion of 100 to 200 milligrams of...
What a sight that is. The most beautiful meal of the day. So this is it, boys. Best meal of the day. Now, this is going in pre-workout. 35 grams of protein, 50 grams of carbs, 10 grams of fats from dark chocolate. Now, we sort of try and backload fats, meaning that we will have fat intake pre-workout. So you will rarely see me have a lot of fat after my training, just because of the fact that it slows digestion down, which is why it's in pre-workout. We've also got avocado, which ideally should have been in meal 1, but it's not a massive deal with it being pushed back later in the day. So this is going in now. I'm going to eat this and then leave it about half an hour before I set off to the gym. Reason being, give me 30 minutes rest, then I've got about 25-minute drive to the gym, 5 to 10 minute walk, which means it's just over an hour for this bad boy to digest before we hit legs. So I'm going to eat this now, enjoy this because it's looking amazing, and then we'll hit legs, boys, which I'll show you my intro as well before we do that. Right, boys, so leg day. So intro workout, we've got 5 grams of creatine, 2 grams of pink salt, and essential amino acids, which I try to get finished about halfway through my session, just for it to actually be able to fully have an impact throughout my session. Because if you leave it to the end and you finish it at the end, then you're not getting the full benefit of it throughout your workout, because by the time it's digested, you would have finished training anyway. So try to finish that about 45 minutes to an hour into my session, which usually takes the whole session about 1 hour 45 for a full leg day at the minute. Mainly because of the fact that I just need an extra minute or 2 between my sets, because I'm just fucked. Like, mentally, physically, just battered, especially my hamstrings and my quads. But yeah, we're going to go down, hit legs. I've also got a monster. I'm trying to not take the piss with caffeine because, again, I need it later on down the line. So I'm just having 1 monster and 2 coffees pretty much every day. I'm going to buy actual pre-workout at one point and just pull 1 coffee and a monster and just have that instead, specifically on leg days. But yeah, I'm going to drive down now. It's just decided to start pissing it down. So a majority of my steps will get done in the gym, on the treadmill, and during cardio on the Stairmaster. So I'm going to drive down, leg day, cardio for 40 minutes, bro. That's fucking disgusting. But yeah, I'm not going to make it too long in terms of training clips, because this video is specifically a full day of eating, so you don't really want to be watching me train for 5-10 minutes. So I'm going to probably make it like 1-2 minutes long, and then get back to post-workout, and then meal 4 and meal 5. I'm not completely blown out, I'm just still a bit once the structure is back in place, just going to get to that power, so trying to manage those. Right, boys, legs is done. Very, very good session. I've got my post-workout meal here, which is 70 grams of cereal, 100 grams of banana, and 35 grams of protein from whey. That's going in. Second carb meal of the day and the final carb meal of the day. So, legs, very, very productive session. Legs has 100% been the hardest point or part of prep so far, simply trying to progress on every single exercise. Because I think when people go into prep or a core or a diet or whatever, I think the sort of general theme is that people think they have to come down and load and are going to be forced to lose reps or lose strength. But why? Like, there's no reason for that to happen. You have to just attack every single set with the same mentality that you would if you was in off season. The only thing is obviously body weight. So me now at 165 pounds versus me at 199 pounds, I'm gonna have a lot more weight behind me at 199 pounds to be able to just send weight. So just as a quick example, on a hamstring curl, I'm finding myself having to push myself down into the pad or the seat more just because of the fact that I'm lighter. So the actual ratio of my body weight to the weight that I'm moving has increased significantly now that I'm at a lower body weight. So that is difficult and that is challenging, but it can still be done. So I've pretty much matched every number across the board in today's leg session, which is very good. Apart from one exercise, which was my second set on hack, which I went up 1 rep, which I'll take all day, especially this point of prep. So I'm very happy with that. Very, very happy with that. I'm back now, showered, and I'm ready to just chill out for the next 2 hours. So this is meal number 3. Macros, off the top of my head, I think it's 35 grams of protein and 50 grams of carb. I think I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure it is. So no fats in this meal. Meal 4, meal 5 will be going in. It's actually quite later in the day, to be fair, because I've just been at the gym for about 3+ hours. So it's 20 past 4 now, which is actually kind of ideal, because when I've got lower amount of meals left and it's early in the day, it's just painful. But I eat this now, 4:30, chill for the next 2 hours. That takes it to 6:30, do some steps, and then I've got 2 meals to get in between 7 and 9, which is pretty much perfect in terms of hunger. So I'm going to eat this now, chill for a bit, and then I'll be back with meal number 4 and meal number 5, boys. Right, so I've just spent the last 2 hours watching Magazine Dreams while I just sort of chilled out post leg day. That film, what the fuck, bro? Basically, I seen it on TikTok and thought, right, it's a bodybuilding film about a guy that goes to the gym, blah blah blah. I don't even know what I've just watched, but that's just damaged my mental health. Anyway, moving on, meal 4. Now, I'm going to show you this because I feel like I don't want to just make it fake, if you know what I mean. So usually if people are making a YouTube video or posting on Instagram, they make the meals look fucking fancy dancy, put some veg and some salad and some sauce, whatever. I'm not going to lie, my meal 4 is 2 burgers, bro. That's it, and just that tomato sauce I showed you before, the 0-calorie one. That's literally it for meal 4. I could add veg into it just to make it look nice for the camera, but realistically, that's what I eat. It's just as what it is. So meal 4's going in, and then meal 5 is going to be chicken and avocado. So I'll get that in after I've done some steps. So this is 170 grams of beef mince made into burgers. On a rest day, my one carb meal is including a bagel, which I've got here. So tomorrow on rest day, I can actually have like a sort of burger thing, but that is my only carb for the whole day. So this is going in now, and we'll do some steps, and then we're back for meal number 5, which is a little bit more exciting. Right, boys, so steps are now done, 10k for the day, every single day, and it's time for the final meal of the day. So we've got 60 grams of avocado, 150 grams of chicken, 2 grams of pink salt. So again, protein, fats, nothing more, unfortunately. So yeah, that's it, boys. This meal again, 35 grams of protein, 10 grams of fat, 0 carb. Taking our total to 100 grams of carb. To be honest, actually, I'm just making up. I actually don't know. It's on my Google Sheets, but I think it's like 100 grams of carb, 40 gram of fat, or 50 gram of fat. No, 40 gram of fat, and then 190 protein, which is about roughly 1600 calories, which is very low. Nothing I've not done before. I have been lower than that before. On a rest day it is 1450. So that's it, boys. Full day of eating. I'm going to eat this now and watch Superman. So if you did enjoy, boys, I'll be back actually doing weekly videos this time rather than just leaving you for a month. But I'll be back next week for another video. So yeah, if you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. Peace.